Um, Good day everyone, I'm Miss K. Mukwena. Today I'm going to explain differentiation in calculus, focusing on the power rule and how to handle stumbling blocks like fractions and also sides. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to solve problems using what? Using power rule. First of all, we should know what calculus do. Calculus tells us about the gradient of a curve at a point. It tells us about the gradient of a curve at a point. This simply means that gradient keeps on what? Keeps on changing. For example, let's look at this graph. We have a curve here, which is y equal to x squared, right? We notice how this graph keeps on what? Keeps on bending. When this graph keeps on bending, the slope also keeps on what? Keeps on changing. So we are going to have a line that touches this graph only once at this point. And this line is known as what? Tangent line. And this point is known as what? Point of what? Tangency. So, at point of tangency, the gradient of this curve is equal to the gradient of this line. At this point, that's what differentiation calculates. So, let's move to power rule. What does power rule state? Power rule states that if we are given f of x, which is equal to x index n, therefore f prime of x is equal to what? We are going to bring the index down and multiply it with what? With the base. So we are going to have n multiplied by 1 multiplied by x, and we are going to subtract 1 from what? From the index. So f prime of x is equal to what? N multiplied by x index n minus 1. This is power rule. For example, we are given f of x, which is equal to 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 10. Before we solve this problem, let me emphasize this. If you derive a constant, therefore the derivative of this constant becomes what? Becomes 0. We can now start solving what? The problem. So f prime of x is equal to what? We are going to bring the index down and multiply it with what? With a base. And therefore subtract what? Subtract 1 from the index. Let's move to the next one. So we are going to do the very same thing. We are going to bring this index down and multiply it with what? With a base. And therefore subtract 1 from what? From the index, right? So I said that the derivative of a constant becomes what? Becomes 0. So derivative of 10 is what? Is 0. Right? Let's finalize our answer. Then f prime of x is equal to what? 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. X index 3 subtract 1 is 2 plus 4 multiplied by 2 is how much? It's 8. And therefore 2 subtract 1 is 1. It's up to you whether you write the 1 or just write x only. Doesn't matter, it's one and the same thing. So now let's move on to the stumbling blocks. So we know that Under stumbling blocks, we have fractions and also sides. So we are going to start with what? With fractions. Under fractions, we are going to look where we are given x as a what? As a denominator. For example, we are given f of x, which is equals to what? Which is equals to 2 over x. So it will be difficult for us to solve this problem. Our first step to actually be able to solve this problem, we will have to simplify this first. So f of x will be equal to what? We are going to bring the 2 down. So we are going to have 2 multiplied by 1 over x. And we know that 1 over x is the same as what? Is the same as x to the exponent negative 1. We can now start doing what? Differentiating. So f prime of x is equal to what? We are going to bring down the index and multiply it with what? With the base. So we are going to have 2 multiplied by negative 1, and therefore subtract 1 from what? From the index. So f prime of x is equal to negative 2 multiplied by x index negative 2. Our final answer should be in a very simplified form. So we'll have f prime of x, which is equal to negative 2 multiplied by 1 over x squared. This is equal to 2 over x squared. So now we are on what? We are on Sad's problem. So under Sad, we are going to look where we are given x under what? Under a root. For example, we are given f of x, which is equal to cube root of what? Cube root of x. It will be difficult for us to differentiate this problem. So our first step is to what? Is to simplify this problem. So we are going to have f of x, which is equal to x index 1 multiplied by, we know that cube root is the same as what? Is the same as 1 over 3, right? So here we are going to have f of x, which is equal to 1 multiplied by 1 over 3. So from there we are going to have f of x, which is equal to x index 1 over what? 1 over 3. From here we can start what? We can start differentiating. So f prime of x is equal to, we are going to bring down the index and multiply it with what? With the base. So we are going to have 1 over 3 multiplied by 1 multiplied by x, and subtract 1 from what? From the index. So f prime of x is equal to what? Is equal to 1 over 3 multiplied by x index 1 over 3 subtract 1 is what? Is negative 2 over 3. Therefore, we are going to have f prime of x, which is equal to 1 over 3 multiplied by 1 over x index 2 over 3. So we are going to have our final answer equal to, which is equal to 1 over 3 multiplied by, remember to bring back the what? The cube root. So cube root of what? Of x squared. Always leave your answer in a what? In a simplified way. From here we are going to move to the next problem. So on the next problem, we're given f of x which is equal to fifth root of x squared. We know that we won't be able to differentiate this problem. So our first step that we should do is to simplify the problem. So we are going to have f of x, which is equal to what? X index 2 multiplied by 1 over 5. Fifth root is the same as what? Is the same as 1 over 5. Therefore, f of x will be equal to x index 2 over what? Over 5. We can now start doing what? We can now start differentiating. So f prime of x is equal to, we are going to bring down the index and multiply it with what? Multiply it with the base. So we are going to have 1 multiplied by 2 over 5, and therefore subtract 1 from what? From the index. So we are going to have 2 over 5 subtract 1. Subtract 1. F prime of x is equal to what? Is equal to 2 over 5 multiplied by x. 2 over 5 subtract 1 is what? It's negative 3 over what? Over 5, right? So f prime of x is equal to 2 over 5 multiplied by 1 over what? 1 over x, 3 over 5, right? Therefore, our final answer would be f prime of x, which is equal to 2 over 5 multiplied by x index 5 over what? Over, sorry, our final answer is going to be 2 over 5 multiplied by x index 3 over 5. Remember to bring back the what? Remember to bring back the fifth root. So we are going to have 2 over 5 fifth root of what? Fifth root of x cubed. If you have a question, you can leave it under the comment section. So we are done for today. Thank you.